you're going to do a bunch of interviews. Most of them are going to go wrong either because of you or because of them. You're going to send hundreds of resumes out there. You're not going to hear back from everybody. Your network will ghost you. And all of those things came true.
All right, welcome everyone to Denoised. We're going to do a little bit of a different format episode today. We're going to talk about something that I think, for better or worse, a lot of people are dealing with: job hunting or job uncertainty, unemployment, transitions in jobs, and how to use AI tools and other tools out there to navigate that with firsthand experience with you, Addy, who just went through this process. We mentioned a few episodes ago that you're now at Stability AI. But you went through a whole ordeal of interviews and prep and leaning on ChatGPT a lot. So let's break down.
I just gotta say, man, really happy to have had you next to me that entire time. I mean, since we started doing the podcast in January, which is around the time I got laid off, till a few weeks ago when I got the job, you have been there to watch the ups and downs.
And I'm checking to be like, how'd the interview go? How'd it go?
Off camera.
I think it went good.
Not so good.
So where do you want to start with this?
I'll start with sort of the high level, what happened to me, and then how I navigated through it, and then we'll get down into maybe some of the details. And look, I want this to be a takeaway for those of us listening out there who's still looking for work. And in our industry, that's unfortunately more true than not. There's a lot of people that are looking for work. If we can even help you by 1%, 2%, I think that's a win for us.
I think so. If it just gives you an idea or something to look for, or another idea of how to use ChatGPT or Claude or any of these AI models.
And AI definitely helped me a ton. And I'm not talking about, spit out this resume. No, it's much more finesse than that. And I'll get into it. So in a very high level, I was laid off from Disguise, and that happened in January. Not because of performance, as you know, I was a big part of that company, and the leadership, I still love them. They still love me. It was just a very crude business decision that just needed to be made. The company needed to shift direction because they have private equity and they have investors and they need to show growth. Unfortunately, that growth was not coming from the side of the company I was managing, which was our industry, film and television.
Not a good indicator, but
not a surprise there, right? So right after the strikes in 23, we thought we would see somewhat of a recovery in 24. That recovery kind of came lukewarm. And then in 25, it really didn't show, right? So I think the leadership, I gotta say, did the right thing, even though I was part of the
shitty,
decision.
Tough calls.
They pivoted to another new segment, immersive and big location installs, stuff like the Sphere, which is I think where a lot of the growth is happening, and a lot of people from our industry are transitioning to. So right then and there, I have this virtual production expertise. There's a handful of people around the world that have sort of the level of knowledge and education that I've had. Very fortunate to kind of work my way up to it over the last 15 years or so to be at that level. But then I also realized, you're still at the mercy of the film and TV industry, no matter how much of an expert you are.
It's one industry and there's no diversity there.
Or if the entire industry is not doing well, what are you going to do, even though you're really good at your job? And I think that's where a lot of our listeners find themselves, is like, I'm an amazing new compositor. I know it. I've done this Marvel movie. I've done this Star Wars movie. I can build things in Nuke for VFX. But if there is no movie to work on, what do I do?
As using Nuke and needs this level of VFX work.
So right then and there, I immediately pivoted into freelancing and doing contract work, which I found actually relative success in. And it's sort of a misnomer, because you would think that that stuff is not lucrative. It absolutely can be. And I found that I was making the same amount of money, but working half the amount. So just for 10, 15 hours a week, I guess that's less than half, I was pretty much making the same amount of money. And I lined up that.
There's no less stability and no benefits.
No benefits. And also the pipeline is unclear, right? Like I had my pipeline for February, March, April, but I wasn't sure about May, June. Right. And during those 3 months, I was juggling 3 or 4 different consultation jobs and looking for work, which was in itself a full-time job, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll get into that. And then on a personal note, it felt like both the best of times and the worst of times. And I say that poetically because it really was. Where's that quote from? Wasn't that Charles Dickens film?
We can go with that. I know it's from a classic book. I do not remember the specific book. Dickens sounds like...
Yeah, right?
Sounds accurate enough. Best
of times, meaning like I really got clarity on my life. You know, I'm not a young chicken anymore. I have kids. I have mortgages and so on. So like I got a clarity on what's important. And over the last 3 years, I was traveling a lot, as you know, just kind of lost track of all of that. And, I was not paying much attention to my health. Was not spending much time with my kids. Was not eating well. I was maybe drinking a little bit too much and got a chance to really hit a reset button on all of the above.
And that's good for you. Seeing the positives of like, well, at least you can have a reset. And because, it does the travel and bouncing around, eating in restaurants. And it can. And
you have a sales target on your head and you're constantly worried about that. Toll. Yeah. I mean, you and I used to run into conferences all the time.
Yes.
So I think even, look, if you're out there, you're looking for work, just remember there is a huge silver lining in all of this is that you have the power to reset your life and pick a new direction and choose the things you want to do and the things that you don't want to do. The worst of times is that it's ultimately not about working hard and pushing your way through sheer brute force. It's really a survival game. So the pipeline for contracts can dry up. I could not have anything to work on for 6 months. Financially, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay the bills? The other thing, work gave me was a sense of fulfillment and a sense of purpose and all those things that I think your brain kind of needs at this stage in your life to kind of function correctly.
Purpose and impact.
Yeah. And then also, you miss the social circle. And I don't just mean my coworkers, but the entire industry. When you're just sucked out of it, all of a sudden you feel like you're in isolation and that stuff is not good. So again, best of times, worst of times.
Yeah.
So my jobs, initially, I thought the first couple of months doing so well with freelancing is that I could just do this forever. And I know people in our industry, I think you and I both know them, that just do freelancing. They do really well for themselves. And the
bulk of people I know are freelancers. I mean, pretty much anyone on set is, for the most part, is a freelancer. It's gig to gig.
Physical production is mostly freelance, right?
Yeah.
I think even like Greg Fraser, somebody at that level, is basically a freelancer.
Yeah, you work on a project. It's a contract for the project. Technically, you're a W-2 employee for that film, but it's a gig.
Yeah, it's a gig.
It has an end date.
I think corporate folks can't make that transition over to freelance and vice versa.
Yeah, it's tougher. Yeah, when you have that biweekly paycheck coming in every 2 weeks to switch to a more uncertain, a less certain
for sure
lifestyle.
I think financially as well. And also just how your operating system in your brain works. Like you can put me into any office corporate environment and I'll figure out the org chart. I'll figure out how to get shit done, right? Worked at Verizon, worked at NBC Universal, like big companies with, HR departments and marketing departments and so on. And, you go to the freelance world, it's like, wait, there is no department. It's just you.
It's you.
Figure that shit out and go make your money, right? So I think we're just inherently two different buckets and that's okay. And things still get done in each of those buckets. So I think I remember telling you this, like, hey, Joey, I think I'm going to file for like a freelance business license, S Corp or whatever. And as I was doing the paperwork, I was like, I don't think I want this.
Okay.
I think I want a job. And not because it's easy. Jobs are, especially at, VP level and the highest senior level, it's hard. It's a lot of toll. But I decided I want a job. One, because I think I want to be part of the next wave of innovation. And I don't think it's going to come from the freelance world. And also, I want to be able to do this podcast. I want to stay in LA, which was a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've seen a really good friend of mine move out to North Carolina and not come back.
Switch industries.
Switch industries. Yeah. I've had offers out of state, and with LA sort of kind of dying out in our industry, I thought like, I got to do everything to make sure I stay here. This is where I was born, raised, my kids born, raised. If there's a fire here, earthquake here, we're going to stay here through and through. So those were my big decision factors, and that's what I went with. Now that I've figured out, okay, I need to get a full-time job, what positions?
Yeah.
So there is no such thing as virtual production positions anymore, like at least not for a while. As you will probably see.
That is a staff salary position.
Staff salary at a big studio.
That's not a gig of like a VP supervisor on a production.
I've got. Yeah. I could do those all day long. But let's say NBC Universal needs a VP supervisor for their stage. Well, they already have one. They're not building more stages. If you go to Nant or Synapse or, Pixamondo, they're staffed. They're good.
Yeah.
They're not expanding anytime soon.
There's only a finite number of stages.
Yeah. So the thing that I'm good at doesn't have the positions that I want. So that's my number one problem. Okay. So then I have a mentor who kind of coached me through it. And thank God there are people like my mentor. Big shout out to Kevin. He's like, well, your skills actually apply because you've done technical management. You understand, the creative technical trade-offs. You'd be really good at product management. So why don't you look for product management roles? Okay. All right. There are tons of product management roles, especially in big tech. A lot of startups, A16Z startups and private equity-backed startups are looking for PMs, senior PMs, and then technical program managers is another one. And some of those positions were up north, and I was like, oh, man, okay, I guess. So that was the direction I went in. And I got to say, what I heard as I was getting let go was like, you're going to do a bunch of interviews. Most of them are going to go wrong either because of you or because of them. You're going to send hundreds of resumes out there. You're not going to hear back from everybody. Your network will ghost you. And all of those things came true. Like, it was really that. And I think our viewers out there will totally agree. Like, if you look at it with the wrong lens, it could be pretty bleak. And it could get you down into a really dark place because people, they really don't have the position to help you. Like, they can't get you the job. The best they can do is they could steer you to a recruiter, which is enormous help. But that's not going to close the deal.
Yeah. Did you ever think of using a recruiter, like hiring one from
like a headhunter?
Yeah.
That was like the last thing I was going to turn on. Unfortunately, I didn't have to go there. The whole I don't know if you saw the Workday lawsuit, Workday being like the resume management system for a lot of companies. They recently got sued because their AI had built-in biases. So it was naturally rejecting a lot of resumes. And I got to say 90% of the companies I applied at had Workday as the resume interface.
Do you think your name was getting flagged? Or
I don't know if it was DEI. Maybe they were looking for certain keywords in the resume that I didn't have, and it was very binary. So instead of giving one a pass, it just kind of threw it into the trash bin. And you're looking at, for a given position, because our industry is in a downturn, right? So there's an oversupply. So for every one job, there's probably a couple hundred applicants. And there's probably 1,000 resumes of people that don't qualify, and then maybe 50 or 60 that aren't qualified. And then out of that, you got to pick the right one. So for a Workday system or even a recruiter, that's a lot of stuff to go through. And they're hiring for 10, 15 positions. So they're probably funneling through hundreds of resumes a day.
Yeah, I feel like from that end, you're looking for like any reason to
bye-bye
to be no.
Yeah.
It's like, please just give me a reason to put you in the no pile, because like I got so many to go through.
And my resume is really easy to say bye-bye to, because you look at my experience, which is so niche, right? You're like, LED volume, what is that? Like, for most people, they have no idea. I mean, we saw the joke in the studio, right?
Oh, yeah. That weird,
the weird volume.
Yeah.
Mandalorian, that's me.
Yeah.
So that's my whole career. And so I definitely got a lot of, automated responses back. So I
And these were just sort of for project manager roles, like in all sorts of tech industries.
Yeah. So I applied at big tech companies like, you name it, Google, Apple, Meta, NVIDIA, Adobe, all of the above, FANG companies as they're called, or the Magnificent Seven. And I think so. I did get a couple of interviews, not because of the resumes, but because through second degree connection, I got introductions.
Yeah.
Just enough to get the recruitment process going.
Your network comment reminded me of, I forgot which book it was, one of the Malcolm Gladwell books from a while ago, but it was like The Power of Weak Ties. Because it was like how jobs and connections come through the weak ties. Because it's like if your immediate network, you kind of know the same people, you know the same stuff. So not that much is going to emerge out of it that you don't already know. But it's these friend of a friend kind of weak referral things that is where the opportunities can come up. It's like, I don't really know you, but this thing kind of did come up and, maybe you'd be a fit for it.
Yeah. And I got to say, as far as how, your connections and networks respond to your recent news, that was surprising. Some people just really didn't give a shit, maybe because they were inundated by other people's requests. But then I had some people that I haven't talked to in months just kind of reach out like, hey, do you need help? Are you okay? I was like, wow, that's so nice. And even at some of the bigger companies, I have friends that work at Amazon and Netflix and stuff like that, Disney. Look, they probably get tens, if not hundreds of, can you introduce me to blah, blah, blah requests. Yeah. Even at that level, the friends that I had there were nice enough to actually make the introduction, which was so cool.
That's nice, yeah.
So that's all you can, I think, ask for. The rest is really up to you. They can only show you the door, but you got to walk through it. And I'll give you two examples of when the company messed up versus when I dropped the ball and I messed up.
Yeah.
So the first one where the company messed up, and this is like as heartless and terrible as it gets, is I'm not going to name the company, but it's a big tech company up north and they're based in San Jose. That's all I got to say. The position was incredibly lucrative. You're looking at $500,000 or more in salary. It's a very high level. It's so high level that recruiters have something called executive recruiters. It's like boss level recruiters.
Okay. Like a special recruiter just for like these types of roles?
For VPs and so on. So an executive recruiter, I got introduced to an executive recruiter. I emailed her. I didn't hear anything back for a week. I was like, okay, it's fine. And then her assistant recruiter emailed me and said, we're really interested to talk to you. Okay, great. And I responded right away, of course. These are very timely thing. And I didn't hear back anything first week. I kept responding. 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks goes by, 4 weeks goes by. I'm like, okay, forget it. And then all of a sudden, the main recruiter, the boss level recruiter, she emails me and says, hey, we are so sorry. Your email got lost. Can we talk right now? I'm driving. Can we talk tomorrow? Yeah, sure. Okay. So I'm like, oh my God. So, okay. And then I do a lot of research on this company, and that's where ChatGPT comes in.
Yeah.
You need to know who the executive team is. You need to know their market cap. You need to know what their mission statement is.
How are you using ChatGPT? Is like a deep research kind of tool, or
just straight up vanilla ChatGPT? And what I do is I have like something like a Google Doc I'll create for every position. And I'll just start throwing stuff into that Google Doc and condense it so it all fits in one page. So I could print out just a single page and have a study guide, cheat sheet. ChatGPT was crucial for that. So this boss level recruiter comes on the call, the video call, and I'm like, okay, dear, let's go, Addy. And she's like, hey, Addy, thanks for joining the call. Listen, I didn't want to email you and tell you this, but we just made an offer to another candidate, and we just wanted to tell you in person that we're not going to be going with you. And I didn't want to do it over email, so I thought this was a better way to do it. I was like, this is absolutely the worst way to do it.
Tell me.
Yeah. It's like you gave me the false hope. But dude, I was wearing a blazer for that interview because it was an exec level thing.
It's just like getting dumped at a bar.
So that's an example of how they mess up the process. They simply dropped the ball on responding to me on time, and some other candidate went through the entire thing in 4 weeks.
Was it like you fell through the cracks, or did your email go to spam, or did...
They like I said, because they get hundreds of resumes a week, it's just impossible for them to just like surface a few of them. And
I feel like with that one, you should have checked back in.
I did.
Oh, you did check. You were following up.
I have the whole email trail. Like every few days I was pinging.
Okay.
I have a background in sales.
Yeah.
The 7 sales touch points. I was not about to let this one go. So yeah, that was an example of them fumbling it. Okay, now I'm not without blame. I'll give you an example of when I fumbled it. There was an interview with a very big company that's in the world of games, let's say. And this was also a really high level position. Salary was also in that. This thing, you're making few $1,000s on a contract gig, and these salaries are like $500,000 to $750,000. You're like,
your payroll check is going to be the contract gig check.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, how can I not take this seriously? How can I not be emotional about this? Because this is literally night and day. So I did really well with this company for the first 3 interviews. It was a recruiter, then hiring manager, then a technical expert. And then I was on to a second technical expert. This gaming company was a competitor to another company that I am deeply familiar with. And so when they grilled me on technical stuff, I kept referring to the competitor technology as my North Star. I was like, well, do you know rendering technology I was like, well, actually, I know about rendering because I used it on competitor technology. And the interview ended a few minutes early. And this is the thing that he said at the last sentence. Well, it was really good to know you. And either way, let's keep in touch. Either way. When they say that, that means it's a no, like right then and there. And that was like the second time I heard it. So it really stuck out. I was like, God. I messed up. I messed up because no matter what capability and knowledge you have, you're still wearing a jersey at that company. And those companies, the people that have been there for years and years have developed a culture and cultivated a us versus them mentality. So even if your knowledge stacks up against the competitor, you're still an expert in the competitor stuff and not in their stuff. And that's a no. They don't want somebody to come in and rock the boat. They don't want somebody to disrupt what their culture is, right? They already know the answers. They just want you to repeat it.
It should have just come from either just don't mention anything because you can come in fresh and they can shape you.
Yeah.
Versus mentioning the competitor products.
Yeah. I mean, a very, very crude example. If you're interviewing at Coca-Cola, you can't say like, well, at Pepsi, I did this, and at Pepsi, I did that. At Pepsi, like they're like, okay, go back to Pepsi then.
Right. Or it's like, we don't want to like,
we don't want a Pepsi guy.
Untrain you of quote, bad habits.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that was my mistake because I didn't know that could actually be a thing because I'm thinking rationally. I'm like, look, these skills are 1-to-1 no matter where I work.
Or look, I'm very familiar with the competitor product. Like, I got a leg up to help your product too.
Right. They don't want that.
Yeah. Okay.
So messed that one up. And then lastly, so I had altogether, I think like 7 interview tracks, and each of the tracks are on average 7 or 8 interviews in. Yeah. So you're looking at I went through 50 interviews in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's a big, and
a lot of interviews.
Yeah. And you were there, I was like, hey, Joey, we're going to tape half an hour later today.
You're right. Yeah. I got an interview.
Yeah. And you come in like, how'd it go? I was like, I think it went well. And it always, maybe it's just me misreading. Other than that one, most of the time it reads really like positive.
Yeah.
Because the people on the other end are nice too. Right. They're not being vindictive. They're not trying to not hire you.
Yeah. I'm sure for them too. It's like, they want like, please, we want to find a good quality candidate that fits this role.
Yeah, and they're professionals. They're going through their day. They're not going to be a jerk to you if they don't like you. They're still going to be nice to you.
Was every single interview remote, or did you have any in-person interviews?
Yes, one.
Just one out of 50.
Yeah, and there's a big office here in LA. And so the in-person interview, I interviewed with the boss, went great. He ran the place. He's like, great, love you. Somebody like you would be perfect here. Then I interview with his right-hand person, and I tell her about my background in motion capture. And she says something to the effect of, oh, I hate motion capture. And I knew right then and there, I was like, fuck. Like, yeah. So these,
as opposed to what?
As opposed to animation.
Okay.
Yeah, appearance. Like, so these natural biases that the interviewers had they not tilted in your favor, you would not get it. Like, these are things that are beyond your control.
Like a bias too, where it's just like, I want someone that's, kind of like me.
Like, and it goes back to what I'm saying. They already know the answers. They just want you to repeat it to them. So if I completely bullshitted and said something like, yeah, I hate motion capture and I love animation, even though I've spent a decade in motion capture, that's what they would want to hear. So again, it's 50-50 you and 50-50 them. And the other thing I learned, I had a really nice headhunter from Andreessen Horowitz, you know, the big, she was really nice to give me like 30 minutes of her time. And, you know, she wasn't hiring. It was just more me just talking to a recruiter and just finding out what their thought process is. And I asked her, I was like, what is the hardest part for you to like match people with companies? And she said, it's timing. And she's right. Look, we're only going to be unemployed for so long. Like if you're out there, you don't have a job, trust me, it'll come. It's only a window that you are in this. And the dream job is only open for a window. Yeah. Right? It's open from May till March.
Because there's also like your timing of your unemployment versus the timing of the role that's open. Yeah. And hoping that, you know, the two align.
Exactly. And that's the hardest part is alignment on the timing windows, which was such key insight. And I really appreciated her. Yeah, going back to the stability offer. And I went through, I think, about 8 or 9 interviews. And
how did that role come up? Was that like open application or was that like a friend of a friend network. In the network? Yeah,
for sure. In this day and age, I'll say this. If you're throwing resumes out there, just stop. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
Figure out weak connections, figure out 2nd degree, 3rd degree connections, and roll your dice that way.
Yeah. I'll say from what I can offer in this, because I'm a weirdo and usually do gig or like my own stuff and have not been on the job hunt that much, but I've been on the other end of like hiring usually just, you know, either crew or sometimes part-time roles. But I have like a few times dabbled with posting stuff on Indeed and, you know, from the receiving end, because it's so easy to apply to jobs, you know, with, you know, click the button, there's just a pile of junk of applicants. You know, people have absolutely nothing to do with the role that I'm posting for.
Yeah, they're like, I worked at a warehouse in Walmart. Right, Can I do video editing?
Yeah, and so there is a huge noise problem on the receiving end.
And that's what Workday and those systems are supposed to solve is filtering, but they overfilter.
Right.
Yeah.
They can overfilter, right, or feed out bad stuff. I'll also say, I mean, this is me too. Like I know everyone hates cover letters. I try to put requests in for indicators in my request for cover letters. Honestly, I look at the cover letters more than the resume, just because the resume can kind of put whatever you want on there and like doesn't really tell you much. Like I'll try to put some questions in the cover letter asking also to make sure you read the thing. Yeah. And B, just also like get a little bit more of you or your personality or just like something. I think I'll put stuff like, you know, what's your favorite YouTube channel? Yeah. Just general easy questions, but like to help filter out if you read it and also like, you know, are you into this stuff?
For sure. I agree with you. I've done a lot of hiring at my previous roles. I've hired at least 15, 20 people in my career. And I always prioritize soft skills and the ability to learn over subject matter expertise.
For sure, right. Because a lot of things too, it's like, I don't care that much if you're an expert-ish. If you're willing to learn and if you know, feels like there's a, you know, a good vibe and you're open to, you know, figuring stuff out. Yeah. Like, can you figure stuff out? Like, cool, that's more important than
for sure
your skill set.
And I think because we're in an economic downturn, the hiring process has gotten more conservative. And I think there's less of that where they're looking for somebody to come in and fill the role. Now, because we're in an oversupply state, they're like, it's just easier to just find the exact person that does this exact thing. So they roll the dice on that. And that was my general observation with the industry. Now, look, I am super happy that I am in an industry that is growing, not shrinking, right? The AI industry is literally in the first few years now. You interviewed so many startup companies at AI on the Lot, Luma AI, and so on. We're seeing, you know, Asteria here in this town, obviously Stability here is in this town as well. But we're seeing the complete opposite with Hollywood, right? Like Warner Brothers is now thinking about breaking the companies up into 2.
Right.
There was a big layoff at Disney that was not announced. And so the best of times, worst of times thing, one of the things that was for me the best was I actually got to pivot. I actually got to get out of virtual production for a bit and go into AI. And that was something that it was fully self-directed. I had agency over. You saw me go from like a complete AI noob when we first started to do the podcast to like running Comfy UI on my own, downloading models on this very same machine.
I mean, you're doing that before Stability. You're like, in your time off, you're like, well, let me figure out this Stability. I mean, let me figure out Comfy and figure out, what this stuff does.
Yeah. So, that's like, just a word of advice. Like you have the ability to learn new things at whatever age. And most of you have a nice computer at home and a monitor and ChatGPT and the window to the world.
Yeah. I think if you adapt the mindset of, open-minded and trying to figure out and get a handle on what's happening and being able to roll it into your skill set. Yeah. I mean, if you can be the person who like, yes, I'm an editor. Yes, I am a project manager, but I'm also leaning on using AI tools to, be more productive and level up my skill set. I think that makes you more valuable to
for sure. It differentiates you. And it's not like the thing that you're an expert in will go away. Like I can, in a couple of years, if I want to go back to virtual production, I probably can. Like the technology wouldn't have shifted that far. But the benefit is I'll go back with AI expertise.
Right. Yeah. It's like now you can go back to virtual production, but know how to build AI into the pipeline.
Build models. Yeah. So those were my big takeaways.
Where did you start or how did you use ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Aside from the research, how else did you use it?
So interview prep. So if you are having an interview ahead and you think that you're just going to nail it as is, you're not. Guarantee you that's not going to go well. Interview preps. So interviews are broken down into probably 3 categories, at least for me being in the technical field. I think in the creative field, it's a little bit different. So there'll be a behavioral round. So they're going to assess you as how you are built, right? How you solve problems, how you interact with people, what you do when things get tough, what you do when things are ambiguous. Those are behavioral. That's how just you're in your DNA. Number 2 is technical. So it's how you approach a problem that you need to solve. So in engineering world, do you break down a bigger problem into modular, smaller problems? And how do you leverage a team? And then what's the difference between R&D and product and applied research and engineering and infrastructure? Like all those departments exist more or less the same at different companies. How do you differentiate between them? And then the third one will be subject matter expertise or SME. So like, okay, you say that you're a virtual production expert. Let's put it to the test. What is the dot pitch of this product and what is Moray and why is Unreal Frustrum this way? And all these like subject matter expertise questions. So you have to prep for each of those separately in its own way. And the recruiter is always going to be very helpful. They're going to be your best friend. They're giving you a cheat sheet. They're going to tell you who's interviewing you, what their background is, and the types of questions that's going to be coming your way. So, for example, the behavior one, let's say, this person is the head of HR. He's going to be asking you about your previous leadership roles, how you dealt with adversity, how you dealt with feedback. That's your prep right there. Like go to ChatGPT, plug those in and see what kind of responses you get and see if you agree with those responses or not. Don't just let ChatGPT dictate you.
Give ChatGPT the questions and ask it to respond to these interview questions and then kind of see what the response is.
Yeah, it's like, I like that response. So then you write one line from that response, one line from this, and then you can start to have your own personality and your own characteristic on top of what ChatGPT is giving you.
Yeah. I think it's not like, I'm just regurgitating what the AI says. I think it's more of a better just like, I blank out on stuff and I forget to mention things. So it's just a good reminder.
Where do I even start?
Right. Of like things to include in your responses to, that just to jostle your memory or jostle like things you should include that you might forget or not think of.
For sure. It's just like a nudge, right? Yeah. And then one of the things ChatGPT gave me was like, this is well known in the recruitment world, is the STAR method. So there's frameworks on how you answer questions. So in behavioral questions, it's situation, task, action, and result.
Okay.
So if I ask you, hey, Joey, when you had to fire somebody, how did you do it? You set it up. Well, here's the situation. Mm-hmm. This person was coming in late to work every day. And then this person was assigned this major project action. We had to get rid of this person because our company was losing millions of dollars a month. Result, we hired somebody better and we saved the project, right? So like there's frameworks for all this stuff, and ChatGPT is really good at frameworking your response.
Right, okay.
So you can type a bunch of stuff in and it'll just like completely regurgitate it.
Give me this response back in the
STAR method. Yeah. In product management circles, there is different product management framework from different companies. Like Google manages a product a certain way. I think Facebook uses something called DIM, DIMM, and then so on. And then in the sales world, there is frameworks for how you navigate the sales journey. The most well-known one is MEDIC, MEDICC.
Okay.
Each letter stands for something, but like these are the things that a LLM is really good at summarizing for you and giving it to you.
Yeah. I've used it for marketing, writing and stuff,
Marketing also has some frameworks.
Pain and I can't think of those right now, but yeah. Frameworks, yes.
Yeah. And look, end of the day, like I said, I out of the 50 interviews, most of them didn't work out, right? I did get an offer from another company, but it was not a good offer. The takeaway is don't worry about it. You know what you're worth. You know what you could do, and the right opportunity will come to you. All you have to do is keep on improving your process, optimize your interview skills, tap into your network. And if you do that enough, it's just a matter of time.
Did you use any of the voice modes to role play interviews or get critique on your feedback, on your responses?
That's interesting. I did not do that. I probably should have.
Okay. Yeah. I've been trying to dabble with that more, even just in more like practicing just general interviewing. Obviously it's transcribing what you're saying, so it's not as useful for my response right now of like handling stumbling or other things, because the transcript's going to be a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been curious or looking for like other tools, even if they're third party using the models that, actually listen to your delivery and critique you or coach you on public speaking or interview responses.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if there's
at least
product.
You could do voice mode, which would also help you just practice talking and have a mock interview with the voice mode on ChatGPT or Perplexities is pretty good too.
Okay. Yeah. So look, there's really no product that is in this space of AI interview coaching, real-time interactive. I think you stumbled on something really.
If you want to build it, go ahead. Just let us know.
A lot of people could use it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think on the flip side. If our listeners are freelancers and trying to stick with it, I have a friend who's a professional editor, and he says he's always like while he's on the current project trying to because his projects have an end date, and so he's like trying to book the next project for when his ends, and sometimes they get extended, but he'll be like, well, I'm booked out on another project, but he's working his network and, meeting with people and trying to do lunches and stuff.
I gotta say
all the time, before he needs it.
On the freelance side, what I learned was like, you can't be a generalist. You have to be a subject matter expert to get your worth. One of the best advice that I got from a really successful freelancer was like, look, if you're going to do a gig, charge well. And if they don't pay you, don't do it. Simple as that. And that's how I was making
especially if you're a subject matter expert.
They're gonna pay, because it's still cheaper than hiring somebody full time.
Yeah. And for something specialized like that, there's only a handful of people who know the intricacies of running a virtual production wall.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, so the best way to be that is to just make noise and advertise what you're good at, rather than telling the world, like, now I can do modeling and rigging and shading and lighting and also virtual production. Instead of that, just say, hey, in case you forgot, I have done virtual production practically for the last 10 years. And I've been to and ran with and educated stages all around the world. So hit me up if you're ready.
Yeah.
And just leave it out there. The people that value you will reach out to you. I think that's the part. There's just too many generalists now. And so find your lane and be really good at it. That's my advice.
I was thinking too, I haven't built it yet, but for sourcing or filtering, if you're on the job hunt through job postings, especially gig postings, like on Staff Me Up or on Mandy or Facebook, maybe not Facebook posts, but anyway, any of the tools that send out daily digests of posts. There are a handful of tools. There's one I've been using more and more, Relay, and it's sort of like a Zapier, but with more AI tools built in, and it has better integration with your email. And so you could basically set it up so like you could automatically tag all of those digest emails, and then it'll go to a relay trigger, and the AI can kind of read the emails, and you could give it a prompt to be like, filter it just for virtual production tasks or something that's like a bit more specific to you, so it can filter out more relevant posts. And you could probably even set it up to like research the company or the person that posted it. Yeah. But I think there's some tools there to help automate the process, to just help source better opportunities for you.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that I did and I highly recommend is paying for LinkedIn Premium. It unlocks. So first of all, I think it does something to your algorithm where you show up in other people's feed more. Also, the job search tools are way better. And then you could send in-mails, which are like, those are super valuable. A couple of those I did get replies back.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, the emails are good because it's basically, you can email whoever you want. And
without being their friend.
Right, you don't have to be connection. And LinkedIn will send them a few email, like reminders. Like, hey, you got this in mail.
3 days ago.
So
please reply.
It's good to get.
And they definitely read it.
They'll definitely see it. So
it's so annoying that they're gonna read it.
I get some random ass in-mails, but
same.
The premium is worth the money for what they offer.
For sure. I totally got this job because of LinkedIn, and I even put that on my LinkedIn profile that LinkedIn helped me get this job, because first I saw the opening on LinkedIn, and all of the networking that I did happened on LinkedIn. If it wasn't for LinkedIn, I would not be where I am today. It's not the same for everybody, obviously, and there's other platforms like Indeed and Lensa and all these, but I would say that at the very minimum, turn on your filters on job alerts. So at least you're getting an inbox full of jobs every day or every week, because they're very time sensitive. When a job position hits LinkedIn, within the first couple of hours, you're going to have like 40, 50 applicants. Within 3 hours, it's going to say over 100. When it gets to that, you're probably already too late. So it's less than 24 hours that you have to respond correctly. One of the interview tracks was with Meta. And that's the one. They were really nice to me. The whole recruitment process was amazing. I got to, I think, pass the second round and I didn't get it, but I was thankful that I went through it and I learned a lot. And the hiring manager was a really nice guy. At least I got to network with him, meet him, learn about the team there. But that position, I remember immediately seeing it on LinkedIn, like just posted 30 minutes ago. And I clicked apply and I got an email the same day from the recruiter. That's how fast it happened. So out of the hundreds of applications that I made, that was the one I think that was like immediate. Which is pretty cool.
That's cool. And also I'm guessing you had your LinkedIn profile all cleaned up and up to date. And so if you're going the LinkedIn route, make sure everything's tidied up and looks nice.
And the other thing I'll say is like have your resume. This is huge because your resume is going through Workday. Don't do multiple columns. Don't do fancy fonts.
Keep it standard. Nothing fancy.
It Times New Roman, size 12 font, no spacing, extra spacing anywhere, because a word parser is going to go through your resume. And I think if it doesn't understand the format, it just dumps it.
Makes sense. So, I mean, I feel like that's definitely a time to not get fancy.
So like have one version that's like aesthetically pleasing and really nicely designed for somebody hand, like a PDF, and then have the docx file to just put through, your resume management system.
Anything else that came up or?
No, I don't think, this won't be my last job, right? So like we're in an industry where every few years we have to kind of reinvent ourselves and keep, at least because you and I are both in the emerging technology space, like that just comes with the territory. So I'm sure I'll be spinning up this entire process again in a few years, who knows when. I'm really happy with where I am. And like, this is a never ending process to improve yourself and learn from it. And again, you have total agency and autonomy to do the thing that you want to do. It's just determination and hard work away from where you want to get to.
Good note to end it on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. And if anyone else has any tips or tools on how you used ChatGPT or any of the other AI tools for the job hunt, interviewing, any part of that process, feel free to leave a comment and let us know, because we're always learning and sharing.
Absolutely. We want to help the community through these tough times. And also thank you to everybody who was there, even just like a hello, how you doing, a message, a text message, a LinkedIn message, whatever. It means so much to that person who is going through this time. So if you're out there, a friend that is impacted, reach out to them. It's not too late.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Catch you in the next episode.